Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm WatchUK99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. The game just went final about 5 minutes ago as the New York Mets win an amazing, dramatic, pull-your-hair-out kind of game in the Bronx over the New York Yankees 3-2. My goodness. You know what? No matter which team you root for, this was a fantastic game. I'm sure if you're not a Mets fan or a Yankees fan, if you're like an objective observer, if you're just a fan of the game watching this one, this had to be a fun game to watch. I mean, this was dramatic pretty much from the first inning all the way to the ninth. But we'll start kind of early in the game. Gleyber Torres hits kind of a cheap Yankee Stadium home run off Josequintana into the first row of the right field stands. And you know what? It was a game where I didn't feel very confident as a Mets fan, especially considering they got out very late from Miami. They played late. The Yankees played early on Monday. And I felt the Mets were going to be pretty fatigued coming into this game. So I was not expecting a whole lot of offense. I felt the Mets could not really afford to fall behind by much going against Luisgil, one of the Yankees' best starting pitchers. So a little bit later on, Lindor doubles Luis Torrens over to third with 2 outs. And when I was hoping on that double, Torrens would be able to keep running, but in that small field, it just wasn't possible. And as much as I like Brandon Nimmo, I just didn't have a good feel about him driving that run in, just because Gil, I thought, looked really good at times. He was sort of that effectively wild starting pitcher. He didn't always know where the pitches were going, but most of the time, the Mets couldn't really catch up to most of them. But Nimmo grounds one hard up the middle, right at Anthony Volpe, and that ends that Mets rally. But credit to Josequintana. At one point, the Yankees have second and third on. He gets a big strikeout on Christopher Narvaez. Why he was playing, I don't know. I mean, Christopher Narvaez, or Carlos Narvaez, excuse me, he's not even the best catcher in baseball named Narvaez. Oh, my gosh. And then Quintana ends that rally from the Yankees with a strikeout of DJ LeMahieu after being down 3-0 in the count. Quintana comes back to strike him out. But it's really around the 5th inning where everything really starts to get going. And I'm going to sort of take us through that game and just kind of my thoughts on it as the game was going on. So top of the 5th, Luis Torrens comes up. Francisco Alvarez was benched, which I didn't mind for this game because he hasn't hit a home run in about a month. I think he needs a day or two off. But Torrens hits about an 82 hopper into right field. And the Mets have actually first and second, nobody out at this point. And up comes Tyrone Taylor, and I wasn't very optimistic about Taylor. You know, he's had his moments, but very few and far between as of late. But with Torrens and McNeil on base, he hits the ball hard, hits it off the warning track, but the base runners couldn't really read it. They couldn't tell if it was going out, if it was going to get caught. And so they both hesitated to start running, and Torrens nearly passed McNeil on the base pass. And I thought the Mets actually got lucky that nobody got thrown out. So instead, it's bases loaded, nobody out, one of the longest singles you will ever see, where the Green Monster and Fenway wasn't involved. So harrisonbader flies out, and then with a 2-1 count, Gil hits Francisco Lindor on the left elbow. The run comes home. The game is tied 1-1. And you know what? The Yankees, they've pitched pretty well this season. It's been kind of up and down, but one of their problems has been they have hit more batters than any staff in Major League Baseball. And that is going to be a problem that they got to get squared away. So I'm thinking now, bases loaded with Brandon Nimmo up, better do it now because I trust him more right now than I do the slumping J.D. Martinez. And Nimmo slams the ball down the right field line, just fouled by a couple of feet. The game would have been 5-1 at that point, but then he strikes out. And then first pitch to Martinez, he flies out to Soto. One lousy run for the Mets, despite bases loaded, nobody out. The only good thing is you know that the Yankees bullpen is coming in very, very soon because they wore Gil out during the course of that 5th inning. And as the game went on, I just kept thinking to myself, as Quintana was kind of getting through the order pretty well, thank goodness J.D. Davis was the cleanup hitter for the Yankees. It was a pattern all night long. Get out the Yankees leadoff hitter, get Juansoto out because he didn't get on base until the 9th inning of the game. Just walk Aaron Judge on 4 or 5 pitches, and then J.D. Davis, he'll kill the momentum right behind. It worked every single time. So then we go to the top of the 6th. Michael Tonkin, the ex-Met, comes in. Alonso doubles, then Vientos lines out, but lines out hard to center field. Mets were teeing up Tonkin as well as they did any pitcher in this game. And then Jeff McNeil on a 3-2 pitch. Don't forget this pitch. He swings and misses on a pitch that's low, but the catcher can't hold on to the ball. Narvaez misses it, so the at-bat stays going. 2 pitches later, McNeil puts a good swing on it, and the ball's in the right field bullpen. Mets up 3-1. I'll tell you what, Jeff McNeil, he is like the best power hitter in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. He had 5 home runs in his first 88 games. Since the All-Star break, 4 home runs in 5 games. This is Daniel Murphy-esque, guys. Unbelievable. 3-1 Mets. And then they take Quintana out, and in comes Adamottavino. Now, look, I know you can't use the same 3 pitchers every night, but it's a 2-run game. It is the bottom of the order for the Yankees, so I get it. But as soon as I see number 0 stepping onto the mound at Yankee Stadium, I'm getting down on my knees, I'm lighting the candles, and praying to the Lord above he finds a way out of this. Sure enough, leadoff single by Volpe, and then Verdugo doubles to left center to bring him home. But right after that, Ottavino's out. He did get 1 out, and in comes the newcomer, the left-handed pitcher, Alex Young. Mets have had a lot of bad pitchers named Young over their existence. Anthony Young, Danny Young. There's probably 1 or 2 more. But this guy can't really find the strike zone either at first. But he does get Austin Wells to fly out to right field. Verdugo goes over to third. And then he gets DJ LeMahieu to ground out hard to second base. So Young gets out of it, and give him credit that he was able to get that escape. All right, so then we go to the bottom of the 7th. Trent Grisham is now pinch hitting. And believe me, as a Mets fan who saw what he could do in San Diego, I did not want to see Trent Grisham in this game. He's just a pesky player who has a way of doing the little things to help his team win. He's a little like David Eckstein to me. But Grisham pinch hits, a rocket grounder, great stop by Alonso, throws the ball over to first. Denel Nunez is the pitcher at this point. He drops the ball, and Grisham is safe. And it's like, oh, my gosh, there's no way this doesn't come back to haunt them. Because right after that, you've got Soto and Judge coming up. Wild pitch, so Grisham goes to second with nobody out. And you just know this run's coming home. But the next pitch after that wild pitch was a huge strikeout of Juan Soto. That pitch took some gallones. Just a vicious, vicious slider that Soho couldn't. And I thought Juan Soto in this game was just really, really over-swinging. Like, he was trying to hit the ball, every ball 500 feet. I didn't think he was as patient in this game as he needed to be. From watching him in Washington as I did for all those years, I just didn't like his approach. It's very rare you could say that about Juan Soto. But now you have a decision with 1 out and Grisham on second. Do you walk Aaron Judge, or do you go at, or set up the forced play, or do you go after him? So I wanted to walk him and go after J.D. Davis, and then Volpe's after him. But the Yankees have a pretty good bench tonight. Benrice is on the bench. They walk Judge. Up comes Rice. And this was no minute Rice. This was a 7-pitch at bat, and he lines out hard to Bader on the warning track. He hit that ball hard, maybe another 5 to 10 feet, and it was going out, and it's the Yankees' lead. And then a ground out to Vientos. Volpe grounds out, and Vientos steps on the bag in time. Yankees strand first and second with nobody out. With 1 out, excuse me. Okay, then on to the 8th inning, and this was a spot for the Mets where I really felt they had to take advantage because there's no Edwin Diaz tonight. He would have pitched 3 out of 4 games. He threw 28 pitches on Monday. It was a spot where the Mets were going to have to get by without their all-star closer. So it's like you need more runs. 1 run's not going to hold up here. So Luke Weaver comes in. Alonso leads off with a single. The Mets had so many leadoff base runners tonight. So with 1 out, Mark Vientos doubles off the wall, barely gets to second in time, but he did. I mean, he hit that ball so hard, I didn't even know if Alonso would make it to third, but he did. So you have second and third with 1 out, and they make the decision to pitch to Jeff McNeil. I personally I felt they should have walked him as hot as he's been. So Iglesias is now pinch running for Vientos to give him a little more speed. They walk McNeil. The bases are loaded with 1 out. Now, this was a spot where they could have pinch hit Francisco Alvarez. I know he's been bad the last month, and he's prone to double plays, but they decided to stick with Luis Torrens, and I think this was the one thing Mendoza did in this game that I did not like. And Torrens strikes out on a brutal changeup down in the zone, and up comes Tyrone Taylor. And I didn't have any confidence in him at all. Taylor's been better against righties this year, no doubt about it. But, yeah, the first 3 pitches were not even close, and I'm thinking, okay, ball 4, just one more pitch out of the zone, and you've got your insurance run that you really, really want to have. So then a fastball hits the inside corner, strike 1. Then the changeup, he swings and misses at a changeup low, and I'm thinking now 3-2, the carousel's going. Taylor can hit the ball out. You cannot throw him a fastball. With 3-2 in this spot, Luke Weaver's got to throw the changeup again. He did. Pretty much the same pitch. Taylor swings and misses, and every Yankee fan in that stadium and across the country erupts. And I'm like, how in the world did they just blow this? So bases loaded, 1 out, and they can't get a run in. And again, I still feel like Alvarez should have pinch hit for Torrens. I mean, as far as Taylor goes, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback and say, well, you could have pinch hit Gamble, you could have pinch hit DJ Stewart, but they haven't really done anything either. So I didn't have a problem with Taylor being in that spot. Just didn't work out. Weaver made a good pitch, and Taylor didn't do what he had to do. So now on to the 8th inning, the bottom of the 8th. In comes Phil Maton from for the Mets. So he starts off with Gleyber Torres, gets to a 3-2 count, full count. There was a great cutter on the outside, maybe not Mariano-esque, but it was enough to freeze Torres. Big first out. Then Alex Verdugo grounds out, and then Austin Wells walks. So up comes DJ LeMahieu. The 9-hitter gets it to a 3-1 pitch, grounds out into a force play. Good job by Maton on to the 9th inning. And now the closer for the Yankees. In comes Clayholmes, and Bader grounds clean-shaven Harrison Bader, by the way. Yeah, he lost his Justin Turner beard right before he goes back to Yankee Stadium. I don't know why he shaved, but he looks better with the beard, in my humble opinion. But so Bader hits sort of like an up and down grounder. It's sort of that in-between hop that LeMahieu can't handle at third base. And great hustle by Bader making it to second base. And you've got great speed at second with nobody out. Up comes Francisco Lindor. He looked terrible against Holmes. The sinker and sweeper had him completely fooled. Goes down swinging quickly. So then Nimmo has a big spot here, but that got thwarted immediately as Harrison Bader, I don't know what he's trying to do. He starts running to third base, trying to steal the base before Holmes even begins his delivery, and Holmes is able to stop his delivery. I'm guessing his dugout probably signaled him, and he was able to throw to third base, and Bader had absolutely no chance. Just as good a player as Harrison Bader has been for the Mets this year, this was just a dumb mistake. Dumb. And then Nimmo flies out. It's on to the bottom of the 9th. And so I'm thinking, what are they going to do in this spot? Diaz is not pitching. Are you going to give Maton, maybe, do you give him a second inning? He only threw 15 or 16 pitches in the 8th inning. Do you give him a second inning? And then then I see on Twitter, it's going to be jakediekman, the much maligned lefty with a 5.28 ERA. And I know Diaz wasn't available. Buto pitched deep yesterday too. He wasn't available, or pitched deep on Monday. The only other pitcher, the only available reliever the Mets did not use in this game was Adrian Hauser. And truth be told, I think I'll take Diekman over Hauser, as prone as he is to giving up the long ball, especially with the top of the Yankee order coming up. So Trent Grisham, that pest, leads off, and I'm thinking to myself, they've got to get him out. I felt getting Grisham out was going to be essential because you couldn't put both Soto and Judge in a position to win the game if there was a base runner on. He hits it deep, but Bader makes the catch in front of the warning track in center field. Soto, Diekman had no interest in throwing anywhere near him. Soto walks on 4 pitches. So now you got another big decision if you're Carlos Mendoza. Do you walk Judge and put the tying run on second and the winning run on base? Or do you just walk him and take your chances with benrice and Anthony Volpe, who are not Aaron Judge? Mendoza, in one of the ballsiest decisions I think he's had to make all year, decides to pitch to Aaron Judge with jakediekman, who has been as maligned as just about any Mets reliever not named Adamottavino. And the first pitch of this at bat, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle of the plate, and Judge doesn't take the bat off his shoulder. I couldn't believe he took strike one. Diekman would get ahead 1-2, and then it goes to 2-2. And then on a fastball inside, he throws a fastball inside. Look, I don't know Jake Diekman's entire career here before with the White Sox and in the minors and in college and high school, but if he's thrown a bigger pitch in his life, I'd like to know what it is. A fastball inside freezes Aaron Judge, and he strikes out the best power hitter in baseball looking. Unbelievable decision by Carlos Mendoza to have Diekman pitch to Judge one, and Diekman for actually executing and getting Judge out. Amazing. And now it's benrice, the rookie. Diekman gets ahead 0-2. He works it back to 2-2, and then Rice fouls off 2 pitches down the first base line. And then comes a 95-mile-an-hour fastball over the heart of the plate. But it's a harmless ground ball to Jeff McNeil at second base. Takes an extra second to set his feet, throws it over to Alonso in first, and put it in the books. The Mets win the 3rd game of 3 against the Yankees this season with 1 more game to go on Wednesday night. Wow, what an amazing game it was. And even if the Mets had lost, it still would have been a fantastic game. I just would have been rather aggravated. But it took 6 Mets pitchers to do the job, including 5 relievers over 4 innings, 19 total base runners stranded. 19, 11 by the Yankees and 8 by the Mets. So, you know, these bullpens have not gotten a whole lot of love this year from their respective fan bases, but you got to give them credit. And so now, like we said, 1 more game, and it's going to be Sean Manaea pitching for the Mets on Wednesday, opposing Garrett Cole of the Yankees, who the Mets slapped around pretty good the last time that they faced him this year. Of course, he was just coming off the injured list, so I'm sure it's going to be a little bit more of a challenging endeavor this time. But you know what? As a Mets fan, I wanted at least one of the 2 get the split and then go on to Atlanta. But yeah, to win this game, yeah, it was pretty fantastic. So, hey, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Reminder, we go live Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. So, hey, all New York sports fans, of course, there's always a lot of Jets content, but you'll definitely want to check it out. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I will see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair. See you later, everybody.